Time to look at the papers, Nigerian newspapers, some of the headlines there this morning. And I have with me in the studio a journalist, Dario Dufowokon, here in the studio. Dario, good morning.
Good morning.
Nice to see you.
It's a pleasure.
Great. And also Smart Akwejoye joins me via Skype. Smart, good morning.
Good morning, Mike, and thank you for having me this morning.
Great. Nice to see you. Right, let's begin with Daily Trust newspaper. That's where we start from this morning. And it says, Boko Haram fighters kill soldiers, abduct 100 in Borno. And farmers, fishermen pay tax to access farms and rivers. This is really troubling. Terrorists attack Megumeri, kill nursing mother, destroy hospital. And the military kills 20 terrorists in airstrikes. And why insecurity persists. You can see perspectives to all of that, and I guess my guests would like to talk about this. This is really taking us back to the days where maybe terrorists was worse off. I don't know, but we'll look at this. All right, now Blueprint newspaper is next, where it says that as Ogbe emerges new chair, the ACF says, that's the Ariwa Consultative Forum, says that killings in the north now like Civil War era. That's Audu Ogbe. Now, killings in the north now like Civil War era. And troops neutralized 20 Boko Haram insurgents in Borno. And Sokapu alleges fresh killings in southern Kaduna. And the Anglican bishops want genuine commitment to end crisis. And Masari advocates roles for traditional rulers. That's still on issues of insecurity there. That's on Blueprint. From there, let's go to Daily Times. Daily Times says, praise criticism as Nigerians debate CAMA. Okay? Praise criticism as Nigerians debate CAMA. That's Daily Times. Leadership newspaper is next, and it's talking about the coup in Mali. ECOWAS suspends Mali, asks member states to close borders. As Keita cabinet members resign to stave off bloodshed. Colonel Goita declares self head of the junta. And Nigeria, US want detained politicians released and tell soldiers to return to the barracks. Okay, that's a leadership newspaper giving us updates from Mali there. From there, let's go to the national economy. National economy says PMB, Saudi King Salman, discuss stabilizing global oil prices. And that's national economy. News Direct is the last we're looking at now. And it says IG deploys detectives to rearrest serial killer in Oyo State. And protesters attack the police. And that's stories on the front page of the News Direct newspaper. Okay, gentlemen, let's get to our discussion of the day now, which is the story on the front page of Daily Trust. And it says Boko Haram fighters kill soldiers, abduct hundreds in Borno. But one troubling thing there is one of the headliners there that says farmers and fishermen pay tax to access farms and rivers. Dari, I wonder how this comes to you, because in the days where Boko Haram was at its peak, where they had territories under them, that was when we heard of people paying taxes to them to, survive. How does this come to you?
Well, it's obviously the kind of news that takes you back to what you rather forget. Because I remember that we had a government, I think denials took us back to where we are now.
Denial?
Denials.
How do you mean?
The government kept telling us the war in the Northeast was going well. But the truth from what we are seeing now is that we aren't winning that war yet, not just yet. Recently, I think it's last Sunday report of the Nation newspapers on the cover explained that at least 17 local governments are still under the control of Boko Haram. That's far from what the army will want to admit. That is far from what the government will want to admit. Why are we finding it difficult to just agree that we still have serious problem in that place? Then we need help. Paying taxes simply means there is another government. There is another sovereignty operating in that place. And if you look at what happened recently, Boko Haram members infiltrated the local government secretariat, killed people, and hoisted their flag. Announce it. You know, they won't do that in 2 hours or 3 hours. It will take hours to do the killings, the burning, gather the people together, announce the arrival, and had a ceremony during which the Boko Haram flag was hoisted. So where were the soldiers in all these periods? And then afterwards, we hear that the Nigerian Air Force bombed and killed 20. Some villages surrounding Magumeri, for example, were attacked days back. That we had reports of that some villages were attacked. That should be enough signal that the main city, I mean the main town there, could be attacked.
Could be attacked.
But we waited for the attack to happen, then we started running helter-skelter.
Okay, let me bring Smart Akpejoye in here. Smart, the military, certainly the reports we have here, the military kills 20 terrorists in airstrikes. Also, the report we also have here saying that Boko Haram fighters kill soldiers. So it is the issue of we kill some there and they kill some here and all of that. But what is most troubling for you when you hear of people paying taxes to access their farms and rivers and all of that?
Mike, honestly, seeing this headline again also saddens me this morning that yet one of the major reasons why President Muhammadu Buhari was brought in, and he made a very clear statement on the day he was being sworn in that Boko Haram will soon become a thing of the past. And if 5 years after, Boko Haram is still a thing of the present, that means we have a problem. We have a problem is that I have taken time to study and vis-a-vis do a SWOT with other countries where we have had this. And I can see that on the Nigerian aspect of it, the simple truth is that there is no synergy among Nigerian military, number one. You will see the Chief of Air Staff saying something now and the Chief of Army Staff saying something different. And even in all this, the SSS or DSS as they call themselves, they are not involved. In all this, the Nigerian police, they are not involved. Let me tell you, if we have to win Boko Haram, we have to go back to the drawing board. That drawing board is that first, we must accept that fact that first, the issue of Boko Haram is an internal fight. It is not external, but now they are beginning to have external support. Now, if we have an effective SSS in place in all these villages, in all these towns, they are to do the intelligent gathering, pass it on to the relevant agency. They will just come, pick them. Some of these SSS men could even be fishermen among them. Some of these SSS men could even be selling all sorts of drugs just to filter information from who are these people, who are their members, and they will pass on the messages. They will arrest them. Now we wait to be attacked before we now move in. No, look, if you have to win a warfare, you see, you will do intelligent gathering where you even arrest them before they even attack you. So that is the problem that we have. We don't have synergy among this military government. And again, just like Abubakar Zulum, when he was attacked, he said, look, he is afraid that this issue of Boko Haram, that there is sabotage. And you see, if at this level is, of course, don't forget that it's a governor, and it's also accessible to some security report that covers the state. If this guy could say there is sabotage, then we should also look at the factor of sabotage. Because I salute officers and men of Nigerian Army. We have fantastic soldiers. Anytime they go out, they do very well. Now, how is it that when they now come back here now, they find it difficult to display that gallantry we see them display outside the shores of Nigeria? Of course, what they did in Liberia, what they did in Sierra Leone is still fresh in our memory. Nigerians dominated the ECOWAS, the ECOMOG contingent, and yet we brought it to an end. So why can't we do the same thing here? There is a sabotage, and this is where the president must come in. He himself being a retired military man, and they always say retired military men, they are not tired. So I'm not sure he's tired. Let him also bring his call some of colleagues and find a way of ending this situation. We cannot continue like this. It is sad.
Okay.
Well, let's begin with the Daily Trust newspaper. The Daily Trust newspaper is leading with the story: Boko Haram fighters kill soldiers, abduct 100 in Borno, farmers, fishermen pay tax to access farms, rivers. Terrorist attack Magumiri, kill nursing mother, destroy hospital. Of course, you have other writers there on the front page of the Daily Trust newspaper, and you'll find a story on page 5 of the Daily Trust newspaper. On the Blueprint newspaper, we have, as Ogba emerges, chair, AGF says killings in the north now like civil war era. And you have very interesting writers there to, of course, tell you more about the story. You find a lot more about the story on page 6 of the Blueprint newspaper, another story about the insecurity situation in the country. On the Daily Times newspaper, you have praise, criticism as Nigerians debate CAMA. That's a business story. Of course, a lot of persons have been looking at the Act, the Company Allied Matters Act, to see how it benefits the common man on the street. On the Leadership newspaper, you have coup. ECOWAS suspends Mali, ask member states to close borders. You find that on page 4 of the Leadership newspaper. On the National Economy paper, you have PMB, that's President Muhammad Buhari, Saudi Arabia King Salman, discuss stabilizing global oil prices. Very interesting story there for you to read on the National Economy paper. IGP deploys detectives to rearrest serial killer in Oyo State. That's what you have on News Direct. Protesters attack police. You find that on page 3 of News Direct paper. Well, let's discuss what we have making the headlines on the Leadership, if I'm correct, with that saying that coup. Of course, a very interesting topic. You know, this is what we've seen in the past 2 days. Would you say it was expected that we're going to have to record another military takeover in a country where you have been considered to have one of the poorest, you know, masses in Mali? Were you expecting to see military takeover because of the political instability there?
Yeah, Mali has been unstable for quite a while. And I would want us all to remember that wherever we have democracy and the people are disconnected with their leaders, anything can happen. This is a lesson to other nations in the sub-Saharan Africa, in our own West Africa. Nigeria, Benin Republic, Ghana, name them. This is a lesson. We should not go to bed yet and say we have democracy and never again will military return. We shouldn't say that. Rather, we should act and work on our democracy, our democratic experiments, in such a manner that it becomes strong and people-oriented. When the people are satisfied, you can then be sure that when the military tries coming around, the people will resist them. But what happened in Mali? After the people were sharing them. Then it takes you to some of these posts we've been seeing, even here in Nigeria, on social media, where people will say a bad military government will even be better than democracy. That is some form of disconnection. I would say boldly that the worst democracy, for me, as somebody who saw military rule, who fought the military, who was part of the struggle for the actualization of democracy in Nigeria, I would say the worst democracy is still preferable to a military government. That is my take. But how many people still believe in this? Gradually, people are losing confidence in what we have. That started happening in Mali. You see, the Mali case is unfortunate. After the crisis in Libya, you know, during the crisis in Libya, a lot of Malians were taken down to Libya as fighters, mercenaries. And after fighting in Libya, they had nothing to do in that country. They returned to Mali, how-do, jobless, poor, hungry. And then, you know, warlords broke out in Mali itself, fighting started. And until we saw what happened, the government in place was more interested in entrenching itself, in staying in power. While the people were complaining. Now look, don't forget that the people of Mali voted for this president for a second term. At that point, probably they were, but for 2 years now, they've been complaining, groaning. I think government should learn to listen to the yearnings of the people. When we fail to do that, we are sowing this, discontent. And when discontent grows, this is what happens.
Let's bring in Smart. I understand that is joining us via Skype. Smart, of course, it's good to have you join the conversation. Seeing what as the developments that has happened in Mali, for the past 2 days, how, disappointed are you, with the way the mediation talks went and with the way the president, controlled the affairs of Malians?
First, I think, of course, is a standard process now in either in the ECOWAS Union or the AU, the African Union, that the moment there is there is an overthrow of a democratic government, that they should be suspended. Well, suspending Mali does not come, is expected. However, you see, don't let us see that a military coup came in. What necessitated the military coup in Mali? The people of Mali, they are living in an extreme poverty. And some very few, very, very minute few, they are leaders, and those politicians in power, they are living a life of affluence. It now comes to the fact that these people, they have come to the fact that, look, either we confront these people now, or we accept them, we are going to die. So let us confront them and die. So that is what has happened. You can see for the first time, we saw what happened in Turkey sometime when there was a military coup. Everybody came out and said, no, we don't want you. Go back to your barrack. They confronted APC, that's Armored Personnel Carrier, Armored Tank. They faced them and said, no, we don't want you. And the people rejected the military. Now, you can see what happened in Mali now. There are contrasts. Everybody came out to celebrate them. That, look, they celebrate the military, that we want the military. We have to be careful. ECOWAS have to be careful. African Union have to be careful, because now they are going to activate their standby force now to probably move to Mali. Let them be careful in doing that. The simple truth is that let us listen to the people of Mali. What do you want? Do you want this? Why do you want military? Because military is out of action. And this should serve as a lesson to other leaders, to African leaders, that look, the moment the people are beginning to complain, the moment the people listen to the people, and the same thing we are doing in Nigeria now, we are complaining that, look, what we spend servicing Nigerian politicians, political office holders, is extremely too high. This is the time to bring it down drastically. Everybody is suffering. We don't want to go the Malian route. And again, please let democratic governments allow peaceful demonstration. Let the people demonstrate. When the people demonstrate, all you just need to do is to say, okay, we have heard you loud and clear, and see how to address. First of all, analyze the protest. Could this be partisan? Could this be religion? Could this have a religious sentiment? Could this have ethnic sentiment? If it does not have all this, are these people genuinely protesting? Then you look at how to address it. Governance is give and take. We are brought into power, then listen to us. It is what happened in Mali is because of the fact that there is a disconnect between the people and the government. That is why we have what we have in Mali. Sincerely speaking, I am one of those that have said, never again will military rule us in Africa. It is barbaric, it is archaic, but however, if it becomes necessary, perhaps we have no choice than to accept it. But let the people yearning now to say, military, go back to the barrack. Let them also go and listen to what the people want. Because if you don't, it will spring another war again. That war now will now be difficult to curtail. Because the moment a crime starts, you can only reduce it. You cannot eradicate it. That is my take this morning.
Smart Akwejoye, of course, it's good to have your contributions on TVC Breakfast. I will definitely see what new developments come up in the next coming days, as there are going to be meetings, talks, mediation talks, and even the coup plotters, are saying that they are open for transnational for discussion.
They made that very clear.
However,
we should quickly have this, that whatever the situation is, we should continue to say no to military rule. And that's why I'm solidly behind AU, ECOWAS, and others. Well, if we give this concession,
we don't have time.
In other countries will say, okay, because of this, let's have them again. And that would be dangerous to democracy.
Dari Odufokon, thank you so much for your thoughts on this.
Pleasure.
Of course, we'll definitely get to discuss this later on.